All right, this is the American Nightmare Podcast, episode number 25.
Woohoo!
Nice.
We're recording on April 30th, 2020.
In the middle of Armageddon.
In the middle of Armageddon. In the middle of our own personal horror movie.
Yeah, it really is. You know, it's funny. I was listening to a couple of the old episodes, the ones you just posted the other day.
Yeah.
And I think it was either the last one or the one prior to that. We were talking about all the good horror that was going to be coming out in 2020. And I was like, how funny is that to say that?
Yeah. Meanwhile, 2020 seems like it's completely fucked. Like that.
Yeah, it's its own horror show.
Yeah, that meme I sent you of the, what was it? Me expecting a great 2020, and it's the little girl from Hereditary.
Oh, yeah.
And then the telephone
that was
pole
awesome.
says 2020 on it.
That was awesome. I love that.
Yeah,
I sent that to the family because we actually watched that over the last month, and actually they both liked it.
Yeah, it was a very poignant meme there.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, this is really an American nightmare. Just
right.
Like when this whole event started, when this whole virus started, I was thinking, wow, I wonder if we're going to be prepared. Because think about it, if you look at the SARS outbreak, like, did you even hear about it? Did you even hardly know about it? They hardly even mentioned it on the news.
Yeah,
there was a couple thousand, like, what is it, 20 or 30,000 people got infected with it, and then it was just like gone.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Ebola. Ebola, 1 or 2 patients in the U.S.
That was a little scary. Yeah, it was a little scary, but yeah.
And then
the
gone.
Ebola. Yep.
And then this thing, which, it's my understanding is it's more contagious than SARS, but less deadly. Is that correct?
I think they're still having a hard time figuring that out.
Yeah, the numbers are wildly erratic, and that's the other thing too. It's like with the chaos that's involved here, it seems like data collection is totally flawed. Like I'm hearing stories all the time of like, I see stories of like, well, hospitals are just chalking things up to COVID, or hospitals are beginning to hide COVID because they don't want the numbers of the state to look too big. Like Florida now, the Florida State Medical Board has gotten in the center of it, and they're like, oh, we want to evaluate this and release numbers. We don't want it just coming out of hospitals. So I just wonder, like...
Yeah, it's going to be a while till we get an accurate, like an actual accurate number.
Right, exactly. And in the modern, into 2020, we're in 2020, and data science is like one of the biggest things right now, right? At the company that I work for, we collect, petabytes of data that come from everything. And then we have these, back in the day, it was like SQL databases with, tables worth of data. Now it's these new technologies. They don't even use SQL databases anymore. Now it's like all graph databases or things like streaming data and petabytes of it. So they got to be able to come up with some decent picture of what exactly is going on and how, my biggest question is how come, one of my friends from Bethlehem was in the Lehigh Valley Hospital on a respirator for 22 days.
Right.
He got home on Tuesday. Luckily, he made it out of it. Meanwhile, 4 people that I work with died in New York City because they were on ventilators and did not recover.
It's the strangest thing. I mean, just the symptoms are different. Who it affects are different. You can't get any like legitimate data that you can trust because there's so much shit that comes out.
Yeah, and they're saying like there's so many people that are asymptomatic, which just seems wild because you can have one 40-year-old guy that's overweight who's asymptomatic, and you have another 40-year-old guy who's overweight and doesn't smoke who is on a respirator. It's like, well, what the how? What determines how hard you're hit by it? Like, I'm interested to know that aspect of it, and that's the thing that keeps me from going outside. Is like, I don't want to be the overweight 45-year-old guy on a respirator who dies from it, right?
Yeah, I hear you. They're thinking maybe genetic code. There's something in the genetic code that some people are predisposed to But again, that's just guessing too, because we don't have enough data.
Yeah. So I'm hoping soon, all these universities out there that are collecting data, processing data, running trends against it are able to find something somewhere that gives us an idea what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
So we can get out of this nightmare.
This horror movie.
Yeah.
Carmen's brother had the test because he works for the government.
Right.
And he said it was the worst thing ever.
Yeah, they gotta shove it like all the way up into your nose, right?
Yeah, he said that Q-tip is like really abrasive at the end, and they shove it way up there, and it's like for 15 seconds. He said it's awful. He said don't take one if anybody asks if you want one.
Yeah, well, my understanding is they're developing several new tests now. That
like a saliva one.
Right, that won't require the stabbing of your nasal passages. Instead, this one is you spit into the little vial and they can get the information
right
from there. And this way it's a self-administered test, I think, which is one of the goals they were trying to get to. They didn't want all the medical personnel with PPE having to do these swabs of your nasal cavity.
Right.
They want to be able to just give you the vial, you spit in it, you close it, they'll take it and go process it.
And it's a lot easier to process then too with that, like
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with all this, but hopefully it ends soon. My guess is it seems like everyone keeps talking. Well, when it gets warmer, hey, dude, in Southern California it was in the 90s the past week, and now it's 2 weeks ago it was in the 70s. This past week it was in the 90s. Today it's 75. Yesterday it was around 80. It's still growing here. There's still more infections every day.
And there's other countries too, like that are already in their summer or warm typically, and are still having outbreaks.
And it makes me feel like things are not going to get back to normal for a while, and that sucks. It sucks for the economy. It sucks for small businesses. That's the other thing. All these restaurants near me that just like 2 restaurants that just opened up right before the virus outbreak. Just went out of business this week. They said they can't sustain the rent without getting more business. So even with the delivery stuff, they can't do it.
We've been trying to hit up the local some of the local businesses to get dinner on the weekends or something like that. But so I said to Kim, I'm like, their food is good, but there's a big difference between getting it takeout and bringing it home in a cardboard box and opening it up, and it's lukewarm now. It's just not the same. I get supporting them, but when you're eating stuff that you'd rather not eat just because it's takeout.
And then you have some businesses I know in downtown Bethlehem, they have Social Still. I gotta imagine they pivoted to hand sanitizer because
they did. They did.
Yeah, so right around the corner from me, right across the street from me, behind my apartment building, there's a restaurant called the Portuguese Bend. It's the first distillery in California that's also a restaurant. They pivoted to 500 gallons a day of hand sanitizer that they're giving to all the California hospitals.
Nice.
So companies that can pivot with their business under this crisis will survive, and those these restaurants that just opened are screwed, and that sucks.
That does suck.
But I don't agree with people that say the cure can't be worse than the disease itself, because the bottom line is if we just go, all right, open it up, we got to save the economy, we're just going to have more dead.
We're going to be piling bodies,
Yeah. So good times.
Indeed. It's a great discussion to have on a horror movie podcast.
You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen from this? Somebody's writing a script right now.
Oh, definitely.
And they're going to turn this into a horror movie. All right, so let's get started with some horror movie news. It's been announced somewhere between our last episode and this episode that Sam Raimi is officially directing Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I saw that. Nice.
Yeah, which is great. The only thing I don't like is I know that, Disney last year said it'll be PG-13 and you'll like it. Fine. All right. We're used to that now with, Disney Marvel movies. But they don't want it to be extreme horror. And I do believe that Sam Raimi's the right guy for this, because the previous director did a lot of great horror movies, but Sam Raimi can do a lot of great horror comedy that doesn't have to push that horror limit. I think he is really the guy for the job, and I'm excited to see what he makes of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sam Raimi, he has a show. I don't know if Sal, do you have Quibi?
No, but that's another news story here.
50 States of Fright, I think it's called.
Yeah, so everyone is saying this is the show to watch. Like, this is one of the best horror series they've ever seen.
What's it called?
It's called
50 States of Fright.
Yep, 50 States of Fright.
50 States of Fright. Sam Raimi.
And it's on Quibi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it's getting tough for me because we're getting ourselves back into this goddamn situation that I don't want to be in. I cut the cord with cable companies because I was paying so much money for so little content. And then here I am again. Now I've got Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. I'm contemplating Shudder because you see all the great crap that's on Shudder.
Shudder's got some really good original content. We've probably watched 4 movies over the last month that was Shudder originals, and they were good.
Yeah, like I'm really
say they were like awesome, but they were good movies.
Yeah, and then I see Quibi, and now Quibi's got Sam Raimi, and there's a bunch of other crap I saw on Quibi that looks like, oh my god, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, there's one with Anna Kendrick where she makes friends with her boyfriend's sex doll.
That's great.
On Quibi.
That's great.
Yeah. Nice. I thought it looked pretty interesting.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a reason to get Quibi. Yeah, Sam Raimi has a multi-part series that's on there, and the reviews of it are fantastic. Series. Yeah.
I might have to check it out.
Yesterday.
You could probably do a 90-day trial or something too.
I think I did see they have a 90-day trial.
Yeah.
I think it is 90 days too.
Yeah, so that's probably plenty, right?
Yeah. Yesterday was the 10th anniversary of the new version of A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Wow,
that's right. It's been 10 years since that remake came out.
It wasn't bad.
I liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't horrible. As a matter of fact, my daughter and I watched it a couple weeks ago. With this.
I like how they did they dived a little bit more into the back story on it, which I liked a lot.
And they made him gritty again too, which was nice.
Yeah, his voice.
The original Freddy was gritty, and then he became more of like comic relief in the later movies, and they went back to gritty with this, which I like.
I don't. Yeah, like his one-liners in the remake weren't as, you know what I mean. He said them, but it was scary. You know what I mean? It was like. It wasn't like comedic.
He wasn't hamming it up like Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there, news came out a little while ago that they are working on a new Hellraiser reboot.
I saw that HBO is going to have a series.
Yes, and HBO is doing a series. You are correct. So
they're 2 different things.
2 different things are happening with Hellraiser at once, and it looks like the 2 are going to diverge from each other. They're not really the same storyline. The reboot is really a reboot of the full Hellraiser series. This TV series that will be on HBO is a separate story expanding on the well-established Hellraiser mythology.
Huh. Nice.
Yes. So I'm excited for both of those, really.
Yeah.
The original Hellraiser, if you ask me, that practical special effects in the original movie still hold up today. It's just
definitely
fantastic. I don't think it needs a reboot. I know it came out in 1987. It's old, blah, blah, blah. But even if you watch it today, I think those practical effects are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
There is a information about Evil Dead. When the remake of the Evil Dead movie came out a few years ago, which was pretty good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
They almost immediately started writing a sequel, and the director recently did an interview where he exposed the fact that he wrote a new script, and it involved the return of Bruce Campbell's character.
What?
Yeah, but it got shelved.
Ah.
Yeah, unreleased movie sequel to the new Evil Dead got shelved.
So it was in between when the newest one was released and Ash versus Evil Dead.
Correct.
He wrote a script that included Ash.
Yep. Bringing Ash back into the picture, which was going to show that the Evil Dead was not a remake but a new story, because he was returning as the original character of Ash, who went through the whole Evil Dead,
So this would have been after Army of Darkness.
Yep.
He would have returned. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
That would have been pretty freaking awesome. The convergence of those two stories, movie lines.
I wonder why they shelved it.
Don't know. I think part of it has to do with they are working on another Evil Dead sequel, which was going to be, the follow-up to Army of Darkness, which I believe that is also shelved.
Well, there was rumors of another reboot too.
Yes, I hope they don't reboot it again. Come on.
Yeah.
The reboot of the reboot.
Yeah, exactly. The video game Last of Us Part 2 finally has a release date. Been waiting for this forever. June 19th, 2020.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned it in a couple of these episodes.
Fantastic game. Amazing graphics. Amazing storyline. HBO picked it up.
Took them forever.
Yeah.
Man.
HBO did pick it up as a miniseries that will be on HBO next year. The writer of the original story that wrote the video game storyline is writing the TV series for HBO.
Because how long ago was that? I remember somewhat of the story, you know what I mean, with her dad and
dude, Last of Us came out on PS3.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like, why do you wait? Because I sort of forget. I mean, maybe they catch you up, but
well, they did the reboot. They did the what was it? The reissue where they upped the graphics for PlayStation 4.
Didn't they do a little side game too with her?
Yeah, but it wasn't worth the like a whole game.
Yeah,
it just took forever to make this sequel, and it was supposed to come out last summer.
And that's why I said I sort of remember the story, but I don't. You know what I mean? I remember the monsters and what happened with her dad, but outside of that, it's like I totally forget because it's been forever.
Yeah. Great.
But
great
no,
game.
I remember it. It's an awesome game.
It's a great game. Definitely, if it's not something you played before, I recommend our listeners to play it if they've got PlayStation 4. I don't know, is it on Xbox too? I don't think that it is, right? It was a Sony exclusive.
I think it was exclusive.
Yeah, I think it was Sony exclusive.
But Last of Us 2, there's a trailer up online that you can watch. It looks like it's going to be pretty good.
I'm definitely gonna grab it.
Stephen King, I'll tell you, this guy is batting 1,000. He has another book, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, being adapted into a movie.
Jeez.
And it's being adapted by the co-creator of the Netflix series, I'm Not Okay With This.
Oh, okay.
Craig, you watched that yet?
Yes.
What'd you think?
Fucking amazing.
It was good, yeah.
In that last episode, were you just like, what?
Yeah.
Any series that starts off with "Dear Diary, go fuck yourself" is going to be.
Yeah,
a great
she's walking
series.
down the street all covered in blood, and you're like, "Wait a minute, what the hell's going on here?"
Just happened.
Yeah, it was such a good show.
Yeah,
it was fantastic,
and she does a good job too.
Yeah, she's a great actress.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and the kid that played Stanley.
And the neighbor. Oh yeah, he's a
Stanley. He's good too.
Stranger Things. Stanley. Yeah,
that was just fantastic.
Yep. No, it was an awesome show. Awesome.
I don't know if you
are they going to have it? They're going to have another season of that, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe 2 or 3 are
Yep.
2 or 3 seasons or no,
it
2 or
is
3
based on a graphic novel.
Or a comic book?
Yep.
Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of the same name, of course.
I loved it, and it took place in Bumblefuck, Pennsylvania too.
And I love that too.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
But no, I was surprisingly I loved it. It was
I posted about a week or so ago up on our Facebook page, Stephen King reading the first chapter of If It Bleeds, his new book. If you like The Outsider, the character of,
I did.
What the hell was her name?
That was a slow burn, man.
The girl who's like a psychic or whatever the hell she was, or just shit.
Yeah.
This is a story about her?
Yeah, there is a story that involves
interesting.
her character in there.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, she's interesting, isn't she?
Yeah, If It Bleeds is a collection of short stories, and one of those books in there actually has man, I cannot remember her name. What the heck was that character's name?
Yeah, I don't remember her name off the top of my head either.
Holly. Isn't it Holly something or other?
That sounds
Holly
right.
Gibney. There you go. Right? Was that right? Holly Gibney?
Yeah, Holly sounds right. You watch so much shit and
Yeah,
it's hard to remember names of
especially
everybody.
now. Especially now, I know. But yeah, I mean, I was excited to watch it, and like I said, I don't.
Have you guys watched Mr. Mercedes at all?
No.
It's another series by Stephen King. It came out 2016. I think there were 3 seasons, 16, 17,
What's that
18. That was on Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Holly Gibney was in there, but she was played by a white woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they whitewashed her.
Bastards.
Yeah, but she's a recurring character in, as far as I know, 4 stories now.
Yeah, she's got some interesting capabilities or powers, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic series.
AT&T Audience Network.
What?
The Audience Network.
Is that AT&T's like streaming system?
Audience Network.
Must be. But Mr. Mercedes, let's see, that came out. The original release of that was August 2017. And it was on...
It's on video. It's on Prime Video. It's 99 cents. It's on Vudu, YouTube. Yeah, that's it. So it looks like you can rent it on Prime.
Yeah. I know it's not included with the Prime service, but you can get it.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty good series. It's a true crime series. It was definitely worth watching. All right. Let me see. I think I might have one more thing to talk about.
Creep shows coming on AMC.
Yeah, I saw you said that. I've been watching it on Shudder.
Okay.
It's good. It's good. It's definitely got that creep show vibe to it.
Okay, cool.
Yes, and my understanding is there's another zombie series that was being developed for Shudder that is going to show up on AMC also. What the hell is the name of it?
I don't know.
Damn, I'm going to have to find it now because it's going to eat at my brain trying to figure out what it was.
Zombies, it's going to eat your brain.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Yeah, brains. More brains.
It's called Blood Quantum.
Oh.
So Shudder has a new zombie film called Blood Quantum. It is a Shudder original. There is a red band trailer that I will post on the website
nice.
With this. It looks really good, but my understanding is it's also going to come to AMC, of course, with a less violent, less bloody version of it.
Is it out now or it's coming out?
It's coming out. Let's see if they have the release date here. I don't see a release date.
I'll have to check the Shudder homepage.
Looks like it might actually be out already. Because I don't see a date here. I see the trailer and a short synopsis. The film was set in 1981. The dead are coming back to life outside of an isolated reserve of Red Crow, except for its indigenous inhabitants who are immune to the zombie plague.
Oh.
Taylor, the tribal sheriff, must protect his son, a pregnant girlfriend, apocalyptic refugees, and reserve Rifferum from the hordes of walking white corpses.
Sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
Those old 80s zombie movies.
Yeah. So that looks pretty good. It's got a lot of critics saying this is definitely worth watching.
Nice.
RCN gave a free weekend of all the premium channels, and The Dead Don't Die. It was on Cinemax.
Oh, nice.
I watched that one again. It Chapter 2 was on HBO. Yeah, so there's a lot of good. It Chapter 2 was on HBO.
Yeah.
I rewatched that.
Yep.
The Lighthouse is on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Because of their A24 connection, right? Remember, I think Sal, you discussed that they had a contract or something with A24. So I didn't start watching that one yet. But
have either of you guys watched The Hunt?
No, not yet.
no, that's on my list.
It was really good.
Was it? Okay. Good.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
this weekend.
It's like a dark comedy / political. It was. It was crazy. Like all the people who are stars in it, like they don't last very long. Like in it, there's a lot of blood and guts in it, and it's funny. It was a really good movie.
I think I want to give that Gretel and Hansel a chance too.
Yeah. That was out like over the winter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked good too.
I think
Fantasy Island just came out for streaming too.
Yeah,
okay.
I saw that too.
But I heard a lot of bad things about it, so I don't know if I want to waste the money to watch it or.
Yep.
Did you saw it?
I did not.
I haven't seen it either, but I did see the poor reviews. I was looking up on.
It got a lot of bad reviews.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes did not give it any love.
Blumhouse has hit a bad streak here.
Yeah, well, they invest in a lot of films, a lot of scripts. So you can't bat 1,000.
That's true. That's true. And the movie we're going to be talking about tonight was, I think they were invested in that too. So
yeah.
Blumhouse and Hulu have a partnership anthology, Into the Dark, which we've talked about.
It's great. Of these episodes. There's a lot of good stuff on there.
Yes, a lot of these films are really good.
But there's some bad ones too.
Yep. But there is a new one coming out June 12th called Good Boy that is going to be starring Steve Guttenberg and Judy Greer.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's part of that series?
Yep, it's part of that series.
I saw that movie, Good Boys. That was hilarious.
No, this one's called Good Boy. Good Boy.
Okay.
This is not the vulgar kids.
Showing up on your doorstep with the leather mask.
It's great. This necklace smells like shit.
Yeah. It's an owl. It's an owl.
Yeah, they're anal beads. That was so good. That was so good.
Good boy.
All right, so let's move on to our top 5.
Yep.
This month we are doing top 5 animal horror.
Yep.
This was a difficult one.
I had a pretty easy time with this.
Well, there's just so many.
Counting insects, really animals too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Last episode we did me, Craig, Chris. So this time around it's going to be Craig, Chris, me.
Okay.
All right.
There's a lot though.
Oh yeah.
There is. Number 5, I went with Willard. The rat. I guess you call it a remake.
Dude, it was so good though.
Yeah, the 2003 with Marty McFly. What's his name? Yeah. What's his name?
He plays a good creepy guy.
He does.
Crispin Glover.
Yes.
Yeah, he plays a good creepy dude.
He does for sure. So yeah, that was my number 5.
Well, and the original wasn't like the original story.
That was in the 70s.
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah, I don't know the original.
Yeah.
Was the original good too?
It wasn't really a horror.
I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't as scary, I wouldn't say.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Went in a different direction with it then, I guess.
1972. It was a horror, but I didn't think it was.
No,
scary.
I didn't know.
Scary.
Not at all. Number 4, I went with Piranha, the original. I mean, you can go with the 3D. That was kind of fun.
Come on, 3 Double D was awesome.
No, I know.
That was a good movie.
It was a good movie too, but I'll go original.
It was good. That was good too. I mean,
yeah. Because when I was a kid, I was like terrified.
Yeah, definitely.
Go in my pool, I was like, the piranhas are gonna get me,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll go with the original.
Okay.
Piranha. Number 3, I went Pet Sematary, the original. Obviously, right? We don't want to say the remake.
Fuck that new one.
That showed up on Amazon Prime too. I think the remake.
I won't watch it again.
No, I won't either. But like 2 weeks ago, that popped up.
I saw that. Yeah, it did.
It's a recently added movie, but yeah, definitely the original, Pet Sematary. Number 2, I went with Arachnophobia. There's your insect.
Nice. Very good.
Nice.
And number 1 is Jaws.
Yeah. Sweet. I mean, that movie holds up well too.
Oh God, I watch it every time. It's on like every week, and I'll turn it on at late at night and just watch it.
And it like it's crazy. Like you still get. I mean, they did such a good job with the suspense and the build up in that movie. Like you still get like drawn in and scared watching it.
Yeah,
yep.
Still.
When the sharks in the water and the people. Yep. And I do have some honorable mentions. I have Graveyard Shift.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You know what?
And that's why I made honorable mentions.
It was a great book. Like the short story Graveyard Shift was freaking awesome. That movie did not do it justice.
No, it didn't. But it wasn't terrible. And Eight-Legged Freaks. I like that.
Yeah, Eight-Legged Freaks.
That's good.
And those are my 2 honorable mentions.
All right.
You all right?
Chris.
Who's coughing there? You gonna make it?
What are you doing? What are you doing to cough?
Man, cover up.
What are you doing to cough?
I'm smoking
some chronic.
Yeah, this is what is this one? Granddaddy Perps.
Nice.
What do you got? Is it a hybrid, an indica?
This is a solid indica.
Nice. You could be sleeping before the show's over. Oh, I'm up next?
Yep, your turn.
Okay, my number 5 is Stung. Have you guys seen that one?
Oh man, yeah. All right.
It was like Wasps. It was kind of like a comedy horror because it was so over the top. Yeah, it was super gross, and the wasps like kept getting bigger. Like they started out as regular sized wasps, and by the time the movie was over, they were the size of like a house cat.
Yeah.
I liked it. There was good acting in it, and it was gross, and it was comedy horror, and I always liked those.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
My number 4 was Piranha 3D.
There you go.
You said the original's good, but like there was so much good shit that happened in the remake.
For sure.
And again, it's comedy horror, which is kind of my thing.
The kills were better in the remake too, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And plus there was the scene with like the girls underneath the glass bottom boat.
Oh, the glass bottom boat, and what's his name is the creepy
Jerry O'Connell. Jerry O'Connell is the king of horror comedy.
Yeah.
That is all kinds of horror comedy.
Yeah.
That reminds me. I think I said Deep Murder is on Amazon Prime now. And if you haven't seen that yet, you got to watch that. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Number 3 is The Voices. It was with Ryan Reynolds and Anna Kendrick.
I don't even think I've heard of that one.
Ryan Reynolds is a serial killer in it, and his cat, Mr. Whiskers, talks him into killing people.
Wow.
And he's got a dog named Bosco, who is like the good voice in his head. And actually, Ryan Reynolds.
I heard about it. I didn't see it though.
He does the voices of both the cat and the dog, but he gives them both accents. It's another comedy horror, but it's pretty gruesome. Like there's some good kill scenes in it, and he ends up talking to a head that he puts in his refrigerator. And it was like a 2015 or 2016 movie, so it's not like that old. It's not like before he became Ryan Reynolds. But I was a big fan.
Gotta check that one out,
dude. It's really good. The Voices.
Matt Dillon did a serial killer movie too that just popped up.
Was that the one? The
supposed to be good.
Which one?
I think so, and that just popped up. I want to say
that was one of those ones that got like protested because apparently they kill a duck in it or something.
Yeah.
All Lars von Trier's films get protested because he does some sick shit in them. But that was Matt Dillon and Uma Thurman, I think, was in that too.
Yeah, so that popped up on Prime too. Yes, that's popped up on Prime too, I think.
Yeah.
So check it out.
My number 2 was Arachnophobia.
There you go.
It was a great movie, and I'm not scared of spiders, but in that movie, I got really scared of those spiders. Like there was some good jump scares in it, and
the acting was good too, right?
Yeah.
Goodman and Jeff Daniels.
Yep. And then my number 1 is Jaws.
There you go. We had the same number 2 and number 1.
Yeah. And then I actually have a couple honorable mentions.
Go for it.
Anaconda.
Nice.
It was not great, but it had a good cast.
Was Ving Rhames in that?
No, it was Ice Cube. Ice Cube was in that. It was Ice Cube, Jennifer Lopez, Jon Voight, Owen Wilson.
Oh yeah.
It was a good cat.
John Voight had that cheesy accent.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that was terrible.
I liked it.
That was terrible.
All right, well, come on. And
no, John Voight's like fake accent was horrible. Like his acting.
And another honorable mention I had was Night of the Lepus, which is the one about the giant killer rabbits.
Oh wow!
I didn't see that one.
No, it's like from it's in the 1970s, and it's I don't know if they were trying to be serious with it, but it was like they were trying to be serious, but it was so cheesy that it was funny. They actually used real rabbits, and then when they had the kill scenes, it was just a dude in a rabbit suit. I've seen it several times. If you're bored one night and want to see like cheesy 70s horror, watch Night of the Lepus.
They used to do that too with like real lizards. They used to put those.
Yeah, there was that one called Frogs from like the 70s too.
They made them look like they were giant.
Yeah. So that's my list.
Nice. Very good.
Good list.
All right. Here's my top 5. My number 5, Cujo.
That's a good one.
Scared the bejesus out of me as a kid. So that one I
you know what, it did too, and I thought about it, but that for some reason, like I watched it again and I was like, oh, it wasn't.
Yeah, it doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold up.
That's how I was with that one too. Like it was scary when you were young, but now you watch it, you're like, why the hell was I so scared of this?
Yeah, exactly.
It gave me such nightmares.
But you're right, Sal. No, I was terrified.
Yeah, definitely.
My number 4, Nightwing.
I don't think I know that one.
1979. I talked about this one in the past.
I think I recall you talking about it.
It's about vampire bats in the New Mexico desert, and they discover these things like feeding.
That's right. I remember you talking about this.
They construct this giant electric fence to protect them from the bats. It was pretty amazing. It is one of those movies that was made, released, did so atrociously horrible. You cannot get it anywhere. It's not on Blu-ray. It's not on DVD. It's not on any streaming service. Trust me, I've looked for it for the past 2 years trying to find it because I have such vivid memories of it. It was one of those movies that was on HBO, and as a kid, I could watch it on HBO like 1,000 times a month. I like there's scenes of it that are drilled into my head, and I know so well. That I just wish I could find the movie to have a copy of it.
Says you can do it on DirecTV.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, I'm not getting DirecTV, but I looked everywhere else and it's not there. I even tried to find it illegally and couldn't find it.
Yeah.
My number 3, Willard.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
I really do enjoy that movie. My daughter thinks it's creepy as hell, and I like it. I really do. Even when I just remember watching Ben when I was a kid, and then I would always talk about Ben and Willard, and my friends would be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you don't know Ben? And then when I was a kid, I had a pet mouse I named Ben. That remake, Willard, just was amazing.
Yeah, Michael Jackson sang a song about him.
That's right, and it was for the 1979 movie.
Yeah.
I hope it was a mouse, not a little boy.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm not going to make any comments. I had a couple comments along the Richard Gere lines, but
sorry.
All right. My number 2, Arachnophobia.
That's funny.
Is that the first time we ever hit 3 in the same slot, or no?
I don't know. I don't think so, but it's funny that this is it because this one I saw in the theater with some friends, and we actually went back to the theater to watch it a second time.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
Good. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, I think I was a date.
It was a surprisingly good movie, yes. And my daughter and I watched it last month, and she was scared. She freaked out.
Yeah, it holds up. It holds up too.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't any cheesy crap special effects. It was real spiders in every scene where they had spiders. It was pretty amazing. Until you get to the end with those really big fake spiders. But even those were pretty realistic. The one that was on fire that ran across the room, the behind the scenes was a real animatronic robot that they created. It looked pretty freaking real. It moved pretty real as it ran across the room.
And that was like what, from like 92, 93?
Yeah, so like 93, I believe. Yeah.
Good animatronics for that time period.
Yeah. My number 1 is Jaws.
Okay.
And because to me, Jaws is a classic.
Yeah, it is.
No matter how many times you watch it, it still holds up, and it has been imitated a million times, but nobody has ever been able to pull off the fear you have from that original Jaws. Like, that movie is so iconic. Just hearing the music,
right?
The hair on the back of your neck stands up.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
You just hear that, you're like, oh shit.
And I get a couple.
Something bad's gonna happen.
I got a couple of honorable mentions. Piranha 3 Double D.
Nice.
Just a fantastic horror comedy. The special effects are great. The gore is over the fucking top amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Also, The Birds, Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
That doesn't hold up for me though.
That doesn't. Yeah.
Otherwise,
I was scared as a kid, and then you watch it again, you're like, eh.
Yeah,
but it is a classic.
It would have been on my list. But when I was talking about these, animal horror movies, being trapped in the house here with my daughter, I was talking to her about The Birds, and I actually found up on YouTube the original promo video that was played at theaters in front of other movies of advertising of The Birds. And it's Alfred Hitchcock doing kind of a small essay that was fucking hilarious because he's so good, and he's so sarcastic during the whole thing. He's like talking about
he had sarcasm.
Yeah, like birds are our friends and we take such great care of them. Look at this bird in this cage. And then he's got like a stuffed bird, and then he's like eating a turkey. He sits down at the table and he's cutting into a whole chicken, and he's like, oh wait, why am I eating right now? I want to continue talking about birds and how much we love them.
That's funny.
It was so good. But yeah, I was showing her that. The movie doesn't hold up, but Prophecy, again, I talked about this one in the past, 1970.
I remember that one.
79, I think it was 77 or 79. So it falls in there somewhere, but it was a warning movie about toxic waste and nuclear waste in the modern nuclear age and how it's going to mess with nature. And basically it was this bear that was mutated from toxic waste. It was 12 foot tall and just ripping through the forest, killing people. And then they found 2 baby bears that were part of this, and it was they were mutated. And then they had them to take them back to some medical center, and this 12-foot bear is chasing them. It was pretty crazy as a kid watching it. I'm sure it doesn't hold up, but.
And bears are scary to begin with. I mean, they're big. They're big regardless if they're mutated or not.
Standing on its hind legs, at 12 foot.
Like tall. Annihilation. I'm surprised you didn't throw Annihilation in there. So.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
It was all right. I mean, it wasn't revolved around animals really either. Yeah. It's just.
And then my last honorable mention, of course, is the original Pet Sematary.
Okay. Yeah.
Excellent. Awesome. That was a great list.
A lot of similarities in those lists.
Yeah, absolutely. We constantly are
because it was a big pool to choose from too.
Yeah.
No, but it just goes to show we got some similar tastes in horror films here. I just want to make a quick note that for our listeners that if they have any suggestions for top 5 lists, they can of course email us with feedback at the-american-nightmare.com. And suggest to us a top 5 list, or go onto our Facebook page and suggest a top 5 list category for top 5 horror genre or movie types or actors or whatever you want to come up with. As long as it's horror related, the top 5 suggestion would be awesome.
Yeah, because it's getting harder and harder to come up with fucking ideas.
That's right. It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to this month's movie review. I picked this month, and I picked The Invisible Man. That is the 2020 remake of The Invisible Man. Completely different type of story.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say they totally redid it.
Right, but it is definitely loosely based on the original H.G. Wells Invisible Man. But it released by Universal Pictures, and it's also a Blumhouse production. This one was one of those, in my opinion, was one of those Blumhouse films that just did great.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And this was this in the theater for a week or two, and then they just released it on
and then they moved
because
of streaming,
of the pandemic. They just decided to just put it right on streaming.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was a good idea that they did that because I watched it.
Yeah. So this film, just to give you a little background on it, this is released 2020. It is distributed by Universal Pictures and produced by Blumhouse Productions. It was released February 27th, right amidst the pandemic. Played in the theaters for about a week or two, and then immediately moved to streaming at $20.
Did it do okay? Did they show you dollars that they did in the theaters?
So the budget for this film was $7 million. That's how much they spent making it. The box office take, as of me checking it on yesterday morning, $126.1 million.
Okay.
It fucking nailed it, man. For a $7 million budget. Because think about it, special effects wasn't a whole lot of them.
No,
not really. I mean, you can make the invisible guy without really having to, make an invisible guy.
Exactly. and $7 million, they made $126 million. Now, I tend to think that, as good of a movie as I think it was, a lot of the movies that are doing so well is because of the quarantine. A great example is that new Trolls movie. I don't know if you saw. Basically, Universal Pictures says, "Dude, we made so much money. We're not even going to release this stuff in theaters anymore. We're going right out there, or maybe we'll do both. Maybe we'll do live, $20."
And there was talk about that. Like it was a brand new movie. They were talking $50.
Yeah,
but $20 I think is fair.
Yeah, because
and especially like I got a family, so the three of us watched it together. That's $5, $6, $7 a piece.
Well, that's why they were talking 50, because if you got a family of 4, then they feel that $50 is fair.
I don't know if I would have spent 50 for it. I thought $20 was a good deal.
Yeah, $20 was pushing the limit for me, really.
I'm with you.
Because if I go to theaters, it's either just me or me and my daughter. And between the two of us, if we go to maybe a 3D or a IMAX, it could cost $30 or $40, but not just for a regular movie, 2 people.
Well, and if you're going to rent it on DVD when it comes out, you're only going to spend like $30 tops.
Yeah, and most streaming places, you can do rentals for $5-10. So why would you pay $20, right? I was really almost anticipating just waiting, but then I started reading a bunch of reviews, and I'm like, all right, fine, we got to watch this one. This is one I pick, and
that's how I was too.
And it's not disappointing. So, just a kind of a quick thing, right? So this is about it's about this girl who's in an abusive relationship with, and I love the way they played it.
Dude, the tension started like
right away,
30 seconds. Yeah, it was like, she was like right out of the gate, dude. Yep. And you're like, and your heart's like, what the hell, you sort of knew what was going on.
Yep. And you see that she's got a bottle of diazepam in her hand, and she's trying to escape this house. The guy's sleeping, so you have this high tension, trying to get away from this abusive boyfriend while he's asleep. She gave him a little extra something to keep him asleep. And you look at the security he has, and it's obvious that he's a very wealthy person.
The Audi.
Just the whole situation. So it started out great, right? It's really about this girl that is in an abusive relationship. She tries to get away. The guy is really a Silicon Valley genius who works with optics, and apparently has invented some way to make himself invisible. And he tortured her to the point where making her believe that what he said was, you try to get away from me, no matter where you're at, I'm gonna be there, and you won't even see me. I'll be right in your face, and you won't even see me. And you will never get away from me. And she was losing it, obviously. She was very abused to the point where she was losing her mind, or at least thought she was, right?
And she did a really good job.
Unbelievable. I don't know who that actress is, but I've not seen
That's the chick from The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, all right. So I haven't watched
like you said, you didn't really see this guy, like hardly, small amount in the movie. And she just, like, you know what I mean? She sort of filled in the blanks for you with her acting.
Yeah, she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think she may have won an award for that show too, if I remember correctly. I think so.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
I
just looked her up. Elizabeth Moss. That's her name.
Yep, yeah. That's it.
Yep. Yeah. So that was just a great actress. And like I said, the tension was so strong all the way along. And then
the whole movie. Yeah. She made you feel that way.
And just I think we should probably say a spoiler alert, because we're going to talk in depth to some of these scenes to go into some sort of discussion really about the special effects that I thought were pretty freaking cool. For the limited amount of actual technical special effects, were pretty amazing the way they pulled it off. Specifically thinking about spoiler alerts, the scene where she's trying to escape the mental hospital in the rain. Now, originally when I saw that going on, the only thing I could think is, all right, this is like the classic Invisible Man.
And that's what I thought was going to happen too.
Get out into the rain and you can see him, but guess what? You fucking couldn't.
Yeah,
it was pretty. It made it. It was just as tense.
Well, I thought I thought you would see like the rain like dripping off of him.
No,
You know what I mean?
you didn't even. You didn't.
Yeah.
Well, that was the technology that he used to make himself invisible, which was also different from like the original, right? Like the original, it was like an injection of sorts that, besides making him invisible, kind of made him go insane too.
Right. This was a cloaking mechanism.
Yeah. Where it like mimicked his surroundings. So with it raining on him, it took that into account, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
Turned it into rain. Yeah, he looked like rain.
Yeah, it was pretty freaking amazing. So basically, the when she discovers the suit, it's kind of hanging up on like a thing that holds it stretched out in one of his labs in the basement of his mansion. And when you look at it, it's like just cameras. It's like a flexible suit just covered in cameras. And my assumption on how the way it works is where he's standing, the cameras behind him are filming and projecting in front of him.
Right.
And the things that are in front of him are being filmed on those cameras and being projected behind him. So it looks like you're just looking right through him. And that's why you don't see like the rain, like I expected, classic Invisible Man, the rain is kind of glistening and running off of, the shape of a man in the rain. In this case, you just see nothing. You don't even, there's like no sign of anything there. The only thing you can see is his footprints, right? If he's walking on carpet.
You can't really put cameras on your feet.
Right, exactly. Or if he's walking through blood or something and he tracks it through. It was just, those special effects scenes were just amazing. And when she begins to hit him and break part of the cameras, how it kind of flickered a little bit. It was almost, you know what it reminded me of? Fight Club. Remember in Fight Club, every once in a while you get a quick flash of Tyler Durden's character.
Oh, yeah.
Just like flashing.
You're like, wait a minute, what the hell was that?
Yeah. That's what it was like with this guy. He's out in the rain. His suit starts to malfunction. It's like, guy there, guy not there. Like in a single frame of film. It was pretty amazing.
It was like a hexagon kind of weird.
Yeah.
When it was malfunctioning, right? It was like a weird.
Yeah. So she, she's being tracked by this guy. People start to think she's crazy because he supposedly committed suicide, and she felt relieved and believed that he did.
Right.
Until that very night, she was like, he is sitting in my room. He's here.
Yeah, that was crazy too. Like the first scene where like you knew he was in the house. You know what I mean? It was like, oh man. You're like, oh man. It got, you know what I mean? Like even stepped up another notch. You know what I mean?
You didn't even see him or anything. But then what happened is when she called his cell phone and she heard it buzzing.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like,
well, didn't he do the blanket first though? Like when she was sleeping, didn't he do that? That was the first, right? Where he started tugging on the
pulled the blanket off of her.
Yeah. Yep. That was like the first time you knew he was in the house.
Yeah. But then when she finds his phone and is up in the attic and she dumps that paint down the attic opening and you see it like run over his suit so you can like see him.
Yeah. That part was, I thought was bullshit because like I thought the guy would be covered and he like did a really nice job cleaning up you know what I mean?
No, I think the suit, like the paint, whatever it is, the suit technology.
Because the paint was in the sink, right?
Right. But I'm sure that paint was still on his suit. But his suit was able to mimic it, like you couldn't see any of it, and it wasn't getting anywhere somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole scene was just amazing, I thought, when they dumped it and you just see like the outline, the shape of his body for a split second while she freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then when you find out that she's pregnant, that throws a whole twist.
I knew, I sort of smelled that early on.
But the part that really shocked the fuck out of me to the point where I stood up out of my couch like, what the fuck was the dinner scene with the sister.
Oh.
She's talking to the sister, saying,
oh, yeah,
you know,
the
how
knife
much,
goes, whoop.
yeah, how much I love you, and I need your help, and I respect you, and I need you to work with me. And then the sister's standing there.
Yeah, because his sister was sort of pissed, so she sort of got on good with her sister again.
Yeah,
because he sent that email to his sister. Like he sent her that email like from her.
Yeah, that's like, I hate you. You're stepping all over my life. You're making things difficult for me. I wish you'd just go away. And then, you know, she's losing the people around here that support her, which is making her break down even more. When she finally has proof and knows, you know, this dude, I found the suit in his house. I stashed it away. I have the proof I need. He's still alive. He's after me, blah, blah, blah. And then while she's talking to her, you just see this knife go, slice her throat right open.
Yeah.
And then the knife just appears in her hand. And I'm like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah, right? It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I jumped up out of my seat. I was like, no fucking way. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And then the sister just bleeds out right there on the floor. People start freaking out.
In the restaurant, like,
she's standing there with the fucking bloody knife in her hand. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then that's when I was like, yo, this movie has gone to an extra level of sinister. Like, this is fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah, and that's what it was. It was just like, man, this guy is ruthless.
Yeah.
Ruthless. And he was. Like I said, you didn't know him that much, but you just knew this guy was wicked, man.
Yeah, he was one sick fuck.
Yeah.
And when she went, you know, to the it turns out the brother is a lawyer and went to him and he did the will and whatnot.
Oh, the brother was an idiot too, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I was thinking the whole time he's talking at first, I'm like, well, maybe he's in on it.
Well, that was the roller coaster ride too. Like, you know, he seemed like he didn't know anything, and then he knew stuff, and then you're like second guessing, and then you find out. Yeah.
Right. So when she went back to his office and said how, you know, his brother was abusive to him and all that, I'm like, oh, all right, he's not involved.
Yeah.
Right.
He hated his brother as much as everyone else did. And then all of a sudden, when he shows up at the mental ward,
yep,
I was like, son of a bitch.
You bastard.
Yeah.
He's in on it. God damn it.
Yeah, then like shit started getting really crazy too. Like cops started getting shot and like at first I was like, yeah, there's not a whole lot of people dying in this, you know, and then like that last like half hour, like it was crazy.
Well, think about it. If you find yourself in the presence of a real nasty enemy who's completely invisible, like I said, the difference between this Invisible Man and any of its predecessors is that at no single point was there anything you could do to make him visible.
Yeah.
Like, he was covered in rain, he was covered in paint, and it just disappears.
Yeah.
It disappears under the technology of the optics in that suit. So there was nothing you could do to him to make him traceable.
Stab him.
Yeah, and you could hear his voice and whatnot. And the one cop I thought was going to shoot him because he's like pointing the gun towards him, and it's like, well, wait a minute, just pull the trigger, guy, just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
It was pretty insane, and he just was killing people. He was like, I don't give a fuck, I'm invisible. No one can prove that I'm still alive, and he's just like killing cops as he's leaving the mental ward.
Yeah, that was I was just like, whoa, crap.
Yeah, and not only that, he was fucking brutal about it. He wasn't just killing them; he's like crushing their fucking heads against the wall, fucking stomping on them, whatever. It was pretty nasty. But yeah, you know, you get to the end of that movie, you get to the point now where she's like, I'm going to take care of this. You know, people are like, oh no, he is alive. It was his brother who really was the bad guy because they wound up killing him in the suit, and it was the brother in the suit. Which for a moment there, I kind of questioned it and thought, oh shit, maybe it was the brother.
Yeah, that's what I thought too for like a couple of minutes. I was like, oh, so it was his brother doing it the whole time.
No, see, I told my wife, I was like, no way. I said, the guy's too smart. I was like, there's no way it was his brother.
Yeah, and then the ultimate resolution, you know, where she goes to his place with a wiretap, hoping to nail him, you know.
You think if they would have called the movie The Invisible Woman, it would have spoiled the ending, or no?
Yeah, it would have. Yeah.
Well, that was one thing that I was wondering about. Like I know the suit was a whole bunch of like cameras on like attached to something,
Yeah.
Was it like Lycra? Or like how would one suit fit like two different people of different sizes?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was stretched out because remember the thing it was hanging on was a stretch.
Oh yeah.
So it's
that's right. That's right.
And then when she took it down, it kind of shrank down pretty small.
That's true. Because that was one thing I was thinking about. I was like, how's that suit going to fit her too?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It was stretched out.
Yeah,
so
it must have been like a Lycra type material or something. And when they showed the cameras active, remember they kind of like zoomed out and zoomed in, and they kind of shrunk a little bit. It was weird. It was like they kind of got big and then they shrunk down a little. It was very interesting. The way they portrayed the technology. They didn't go into depth, so we really don't know exactly how it worked, right?
Right.
But we knew enough that he was some sort of genius. You kind of think of it as like I just look at it this way. Imagine
maybe we shouldn't spoil the ending either. I mean,
imagine what's his name from Facebook?
Zuckerberg?
Yeah, imagine Zuckerberg. Imagine Zuckerdick as a lunatic who's after some chick. You know, he's got the kind of money that could develop and create that technology and keep it for himself and fake his own death and do that shit. So to me, just watching this is like, there has to be, I mean, think about it. When you
technology?
Think about, not only that, when you think about people who are successful in the world, dictators, CEOs, most of them are sociopaths, right? I mean, to be that successful, you need to have some sense of ruthlessness and lack of empathy for other human beings, right?
True.
Yeah.
So this is not that far fetched from what the reality could be in the 22nd or 23rd century, right? Because we have sociopaths out there that have this type of control desire in their life. And if you think about it, when his brother was talking about him, he's saying, look, nobody ever said no to him. And when you said no to him, he lost it. Yeah, you became the hyper focus of his life. And that is, he's a sociopath who just wants that. It just, to me, is not that far-fetched from reality.
Yeah, you're right.
So
I can see Stephen Miller being the Invisible Man. Right?
I'm sure he's the one that came up with the idea of, if the states want COVID help, they need to eliminate their sanctuary city policies. He tries to slip his shit into every goddamn situation.
That guy got married.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't
like I said, I don't know if you want to spoil the ending, but
we said spoiler alerts, but we'll leave it at the. I don't think
we sort of said if it's still out in the theater, we won't really do that either, right?
Yeah.
True.
Just in summary, for me, I'm going to say, I really enjoyed the movie. It was thoroughly entertaining.
It's one of the better ones I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say for 2020, it's probably the best
one I've seen in quarantine. For sure.
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to give it a 4.5 stars.
I had that in my mind last night, 4.5.
I was going to give it 4, but okay, we'll go 4.5.
All right, so we'll go with the American Nightmare podcast is giving the 2020 release of The Invisible Man 4.5 stars.
Yep.
Sweet.
Definitely worth watching.
Oh God, yeah.
Definitely.
I was pleasantly surprised for sure.
Suspenseful, entertaining, and very well done.
Blumhouse made up for their god awful Black Christmas.
Yeah, for sure. Holy crap. So just, in summary, this thing, $7 million budget, $126 million box office, and that's counting streaming in the box office, of course. Because
I got to say, it's probably...
Oh, that includes the streaming that people have been doing.
50-50, because it was only in the box office. It was only in the theater for 2 weeks before shit got shut down, right?
Yeah.
And I will also say this. I don't know where this fits into Universal Monsters universe, right? Because Universal wanted to do this dark universe of all their original monsters. The Invisible Man is one of the original Universal Pictures monsters, right? You think about, the Mummy, the Frankenstein's monster, the Creature of the Black Lagoon, the Dracula,
right,
the Wolfman, and the Invisible Man, right? And so far as the Invisible Man even appeared in, Abbott and Costello and the Invisible Man, and the Invisible Man was with the Wolfman or some other shit in another movie during those 1940s, 1950s.
I think in the 80s too, there was Debbie Does the Invisible Man.
Debbie Does the Invisible Man. Wow.
I think so.
Is that the sequel to Debbie Does Dallas?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, did Universal put out the Wolfman with?
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, was that Universal?
I think
I
so.
don't know.
The Universal owns.
They own the
Wolfman,
property, right?
Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, it was like Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, that was Wolf, right? Or
no, yeah, that was just Wolf. Yeah, that was Wolf. Or no,
Wolf.
That was
Wolfman
Michelle.
Wolfman was 2010, right? That was Benicio del Toro.
That was
Emily Blunt was in it.
Hannibal Lecter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins was in that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson and Michelle.
Yeah, that was Wolf.
Yeah, that was Wolf.
Yeah, Michelle.
Okay. My bad.
Wolfman 2010 was Universal Pictures. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And it didn't do very well.
So now they got two, right? You're saying the Invisible Man was Universal.
Oh, there's the Mummy too that just came out like 2 years ago.
With Tom Cruise.
Yep. Mummy was a flop because it was a piece of shit. They had the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in that one, and they were going to make that movie, but they bailed on it after that movie did so poorly. And let's just
I like that. I like that character and concept, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah. Well, let's just look back. The Wolfman of 2010, right? That was released by Universal based on the original Wolfman. Starring Benicio del Toro, Anthony Hopkins, Emily Blunt, Hugo Weaving was in it. Music by Danny Elfman. They spent $150 million making that piece of shit, and the box office it only brought home 139 million. It missed making his money back because it really wasn't that good.
Yeah. And I was excited to see that one too. And
it's sad to see Universal, the creators of those monsters, the guys that own the intellectual property of those, and they're just killing the poor franchise. They're just killing it.
That's a horror in itself.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up this episode.
Okay.
Hey, real quick before we do, we forgot to mention it earlier in the news and stuff like that. But season 2 of What We Do in the Shadows has been great.
Oh yeah.
It's been fantastic.
Yep, I just watched the one before the podcast, the one from last night.
I love it.
Yeah.
So funny. The curse that they had last night.
Oh, the
Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary.
Just loved it. Loved it.
Oh my God.
That show is
the phone.
funny.
The phone was bloody when he answered the phone. It's Bloody Mary. Sounded like Bloody Mary. It was
such a good show. If you don't watch What We Do in the Shadows, you got to go check it out. It's really good.
And watch the movie, because I know the movie doesn't link all that much to the show, but still, the movie's the original writers, the original storyline. Fantastic.
Well, they're talking about doing another movie, right, with the werewolves.
Yeah, and just makes
and they do show up in the one episode of season 1, in episode 6 or 7.
Yeah. So for a little bit, they were pissing on the hedges, right?
Yeah.
That's my mother's vulva.
Yeah.
It smells like werewolf piss.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to remind everyone about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely worth watching. And just another note too. Lock and Key.
I've heard that's good.
It's in my queue. I just haven't watched it yet.
It gave me such horrible anxiety, but it was so
really.
good.
It's a horror.
Yeah, it's a horror. It's horror.
Horror fantasy, like Harry Potter-ish.
Yeah,
okay. All right.
Fantasy. There's
check it out.
Blood in it. There is death, murder, and horror in it. Yes, it's very good.
Okay.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
Yep.
I know it seemed too like Harry Potter-ish. That's why I haven't really watched it. But
it's not.
I do have it in the queue.
It's based on a graphic novel. Once again, it seems like everything starts as a comic book. Written by Joe Hill, the son of Stephen
Those guys
King.
are killing it. Those guys are killing it.
Yeah, the King family is wrapping it all up for everybody, huh?
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to thank all of our listeners.
I guess we'll text. Yeah, we'll text.
Yeah, we'll but I just want to wrap up real quick. So I want to thank all of our listeners that have been listening. You know, we are reaching some astronomically high numbers that I do not expect of listeners. 132 some odd listeners of 132 listeners for some of our episodes. I posted on our Facebook. We have All the Devils Are Here happens to be our number one episode, which, by the way, that movie is complete garbage. But somehow, if you go to Google and search for All the Devils Are Here, we are on the 3rd page. Somehow, not a lot of people are talking about it. There apparently is a lot of books bit called All of the Devils Are Here.
Okay, all right.
That have nothing to do with this movie. But the fact that 132 downloads of that episode, that's kind of impressive.
That is.
For three guys chatting about horror movies that we don't really advertise this anywhere. So I want to thank everyone that does listen. I've released 3 older episodes. Being in quarantine, I got a lot of extra time. I released 3 backed episodes that I didn't get to at some point, and I had plenty of time now, so I edited those, posted them. The episode for The Chill, 32 downloads in the first hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that people have us set up as a subscription now, and the minute I post, they are automatically downloading episodes, so that's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. And
thanks.
if you want to give us any feedback, give any suggestions for future discussions on podcasts, you want to share some horror news or just general feedback, you can email us at feedback@the-american-nightmare.com or visit our website, theamericannightmare.com, and click the feedback button there. Make sure visit our website. If you're using a good podcast player, like something like Overcast, or using the Apple player, there is a link. I do chapters, and I link all the chapters so you can skip ahead to each section of our podcast. I also put notes in there that link back to the website to show you all the news that we discuss and our top 5 lists that you can read along with as you're listening. So everybody, get out there, use a good podcast player, listen to us, enjoy the content. And if you have any suggestions, please give us some feedback, and we're happy to oblige those requests. Until next month, we'll talk again. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
All right,
So
guys.
long.